What are we playing? What are we ways? I'm live right now. Twitch, TTVE_thin. Chat, say hi to YouTube. YouTube, say hi back. YouTube, if you don't say hi back, I will actually, I can't do anything. I won't lie. But, so I wanted to talk about something that I feel like is really overlooked. And I feel like it's kind of being downplayed a little bit. Even a couple of my boys texted me and spoke to me about it. And they feel like it's not as big of an issue, but they see the problem. And I would be a hypocrite if I didn't mention this and discuss this and go hard on this the same way I do for Genshin. Because I like to be as objective as possible, and I want to advocate for these games to not be as predatory. I know it's a pipe dream, it is what it is, but I'm here to talk about the TOA, right? And so the TOA is very predatory, this rotation. It's very bad. Actually, I need to actually log into a different account. I haven't done my TOA yet. Let me log into one that has it unlocked so we can go over the usage rates together. But while I'm logging in, my point here, neutral streamer, right? Wait, hold on. All right, I had to pause the recording because I want to log into an account. I want to break all of these down to you. So the left and right tower are kind of whatever. We'll go over those as well. But the main issue here is the two middle towers and the resistances that they have and that they've increased. And also, how do I word this? It's a little weird. They've increased resistances of elements that you can use against the enemies, but they've also decreased the resistance of some elements. So instead of me yapping, I will just physically show you right now. And the reason why I think this is a problem is that I don't think the game has enough depth and enough characters and really just as many things to sit here and justify this type of tower of adversity. Now, one thing I will say while we're loading in is I 1000% believe endgame is meant to be cleared by endgame players, okay? I'm not the type of person that say endgame should be accessible to everybody. I do have a little bit of an elitist take with that, where in order for you to complete endgame, you have to be good at the game, you have to be prepared, and you have to understand the game at some sort of baseline level. It would be silly for me to sit here and advocate for people to say, well, they should be able to complete the game at the end game the second they log in. I'm going to make that very abundantly clear before this gets twisted. So, middle tower. Wale, don't even stress, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Don't even stress. Don't even worry about it. This is what we're looking at right now. The two floors. So the first enemy's crownless, and the second is all electro. So enemy Glacio and Arrow res are decreased by 10%, and their Electro and Havoc res are increased by 10%. Hitting a target with a coordinated attack increases all team members' attack by 2% and their resonant skill damage by 4% for 3 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. One stack is lost every 3 seconds. Retriggering these effects is its duration. Okay, right? So sidebar, while we're recording this, can someone get me a screenshot of the last buff so we can compare what the previous buffs were compared to this new one? There's been tons and tons of discourse about TOA and pretty much that it is a bad game mode. I'm going to be 1000% honest with you. I do not like TOA. I think it's too Genshin Impact-y. I don't think it's really the best thing in the world. My genuine honest opinion is I think you leave it alone. You just let it live. You let it live for what it is, and you use your resources to create a different end game. A lot of people say, how would you fix it? How would you fix it? A, not like this. B, I don't think you fix it. I think you leave it. I think it serves its purpose, and I think it attracts Genshin players. But that's something different. I 100% agree. It's boring. Miles, I love it. Can we get a fat shout out for Miles, by the way? Welcome in, brother. So these are the buffs previously. Now, the middle tower, the whole purpose of the middle tower was the affinities weren't really locked down in order to make your team compositions more strict, right? Because if you look on the left and right side, historically, you would have some sort of elemental affinity buff here. So this would be Glacio res buff, and then over here, the left side would be Spectral buff, right? Now, you do still have restrictions depending on the enemy you're fighting. So, for example, I cannot use my Camilla against Crownless. So while the middle tower could still be restrictive, even with the old buffs, due to the fact that, again, there are restrictions, right? So this one had double Havoc and Feline. So some people, including myself, I foreheaded my way through this with Camilla, this old one. Now, it was annoying, but you could do it, right? But there are still restrictions. This, I think, is just too much, and I will explain to you why this is too much. The roster is not deep enough for this, so let's break this down. What team compositions can you use to fight Crownless with the Glacio Arrow res? What can we use, right? And let's actually look to make it worse, fix it Make it worse equals fix it. Yeah, this is not what anybody said when they said, please make it better. Nobody requested a change like this. And this is artificial difficulty. And I also, again, I'm going to state this right now. I have no proof. Chat is telling me the HP is inflated a little bit. I have no proof. I will say, I think the rotations are a little bit longer, and I think the HP is inflated for the middle tower. I really do. I do. I think that it is inflated, but I don't have proof of this. So I'm not going to harp on that point. I'm kind of just going to let that go, but keep that in the back of your mind. I do think the HP is inflated. All right, let's keep it pushing, whatever, right? So what can you use here? Okay, well, Camilla out of the equation. Camilla's gone. You're not using Camilla. You're not using Havoc Rover. You're not using Donjin, although people are going to say, who would have used Donjin? You're not really using that. So you could use Zhang Liao and Yinlin if you had both Zhang Liao and Yinlin, but in a situation like this account doesn't have that, right? So obviously the easy answer is Carlotta. You could use Carlotta, or you could use Jian. Well, let's just keep it a stack. Not everybody rolled for every single character. It's also very interesting that Camilla was on the last banner with the rerun of Zhang Liao and Yinlin, and they are purposely, for whatever reason, actually I know the reason, we'll get to it in a moment, they are increasing the Electro and Havoc res so you can pull for Carlotta, okay? Now, I am not going to say that Wuthering Waves is as predatory as Genshin or HSR or ZZZ. I will not say that. I think Wuthering Waves is one of the more generous gacha games, but there are things about the game that is still predatory, right? What's good, K? Kai, brother, welcome in, man. There's things about this still so predatory. This is one of them, and I think this is a very slippery slope. Before you parasocial fucking weirdos say that I'm shitting on the game and that I'm making it seem like Koro Games is the devil or they're an Genshin equivalent, please keep this in mind. I'm calling this out because this is behavior that can be a very slippery slope that can go down a negative way. We do not have enough alternatives, enough reruns to justify this is occurring, that this should be happening. A lot of people don't have Jian. This account doesn't have Yinlin, right? Okay, you could 1000% use Jinsei. Now, Sarah is a crackhead, and they use Jinsei with Yanwu for whatever reason. They were able to get the clear. This is really not a very conventional team, but you could use Cheng-Li, and you could use Jinsei Cheng-Li, and that still works. I mean, Jinsei's a massive nuke, but the rotations are still, they're still pretty tight. They're still pretty tight. It's not as easy as it looks. And so when you have this, again, a lot of people criticize Imaginarium Theater. Yo, Cake, thank you for the follow, brother. I appreciate you keeping this in the video. Dap me up, man. You're an actual legend. I appreciate you. A lot of people criticize the Imaginarium Theater is because what it did was made your team compositions feel more locked down. The whole thought process behind Imaginarium Theater from Genshin Impact was the fact that we want you to play different play styles that nobody fucking wants to play, and there really is no synergies. I don't want to sit here and play a random team that I don't want to do. If I have to go into a viewer's account and make a ghetto team with like just some nonsense characters, it's just stupid and it's redundant, and you're already making a game mode that has a lot of negative reception, A, more predatory, especially when the PS5 release literally just dropped, and B, make a lot of people not like it. So your mother, so was your mother last night when I was with her last night. Okay. Yo, you're a fucking yo, can we get a shout out for Cap? How you feeling, Stinky? Yeah, I mean, hey, you can have fun, bro. You know, have fun. You know what I'm saying? Have fun. What I'm saying. I'm gonna follow Cappy to follow Cappy. Beat the fucking shit out of you. Cap is a person who has an S5 Gion and can still barely clear this because they have the brain of a Western CC. Now, you guys know I've been promoted to Eastern CC recently, but again, now let's look at this second half, and then we're gonna go over the usage rates. Electro. So Zhang Liao Yinlin out of the equation, absolutely out of the equation. With Camilla. This is still rough. The clear is still very tight, and even when you use Sanhua, let's just keep it a stack, boys. Whether it's a naked Sanhua or a Sanhua with any type of gear, Sanhua really does little to no damage. Sanhua is here to funnel your Concerto energy and to get Camilla stacks. So Camilla's out, really could be cleared, but is super tight and the rotation's really rough. Okay, right. So you can't do Electro. Camilla's kind of rough. You could do Gion, but it's really super sweaty. And again, not everyone has Gion. A lot of people skip Gion because they're the first They are the first banner character, right? So it is what it is. What are you going to use here? Can you run Changli Jinxie? Of course, but also that's a super sweaty team that not a lot of people do, right? And even I ran it. It's kind of annoying. Well, you could run Carlotta. You could run Carlotta, right? Well, why would I not run the character that's on banner? And again, or you could run coordinated attack. So you could run Jinxie here with Gigi. Well, this account doesn't have Gigi. This account does not have Yinlin. So now I am fucked. What am I doing here? You have to use Yanwu. Okay, well, Yanwu, although Yanwu pretty much does no damage in general, now Yanwu's going to do even less damage here because of the fact that these are all electro enemies. It is just too restrictive. The game mode in itself was already not fun. Exactly what Cap said. TOA was totally fine without the update. People were already having issues before this. I won't say it was fine, but the actual whole purpose of TOA, I just thought it was annoying. I felt it sucked. It's whatever. But now we're getting to the point where you need certain characters to do it. And let's be honest, most casuals are not Q-long canceling with Gion or doing crazy hot swaps that I am doing with Jinxie and Changli. That is not the average. Now, the counter argument is, well, Ethan, the average player doesn't pay TOA. Congratulations. My other counter argument is this is a mobile video game. Some people play the game on mobile. Or these new people playing on PS5, if they come into this and they see this, they're like, fuck. At first glance, you have to understand, at first glance, if a new player is coming into my video game or a game that I'm playing, right? And they're like, oh man, I really want to try out this tower stuff. What is that? And they're like, oh, well, the Glacio buff is there. You want to do it by the Glacio character. They're like, well, maybe I don't want to buy this character. Maybe I don't fucking like them. How does nobody realize that, guys? This just by itself, it doesn't look good. The average player or the average endgame player is not going to sit here and theory craft their own teams. I'm sorry to tell you, that is just not in the realm of realism. It's fucking stupid. Now let's look at these usage rates. Let's see what people use on the very bad side of the community, the Western side, because we all suck, right? According to Rexcellent. So popular teams. I'd love to know what Rexcellent used, by the way. If someone wants to link me a clear that he used. Okay, so let's lock this down. Dope. You're using Carlotta, which is a Glacio DPS, who gets a buff because she's from Glacio. You are then using Zhezhe, who is Glacio, but also gets a coordinated attack buff. Pretty standard stuff here, right? Jinxie with Gigi. Jinxie's just fucking busted. Gigi's the Glacio, coordinated attack. Do we see a pattern here? So then after that, you have Jinxie with Gigi and Verena. Carlotta, Gigi, Verena. Wow. All right, boys. Here's the thing. Wait. Hold your pants. Hold on. Here's the kicker, boys. We have Gion. Let me just double check that buff real quick. Oh, it's Arrow Res. So it makes sense you can clear it with Gion, but even then, it's still really not fun to use because nobody's Q-long canceling, but it's okay. That makes sense. So we're on team 6, and out of so far 6 teams, they've only used on buff characters, and Jinxie is just a fucking god. If your counter argument is, well, Jinxie's there, you're fucking dumb. Jinxie hits nukes like no other. I'm sorry to tell you. So Jinxie and on banner characters or on element characters, and look at the percentages, by the way. We now have 4% people did not use Gigi. That's what I'm saying, man. 4% people did not use Gigi. Changli, Carlotta, this is some getaway of shit. A shout out to this person who was willing to do that, right? Gion, Mortefi. Yinlin was used here. Yinlin gives you the coordinated strikes buff. Now it is Electro Res, but you're still getting the coordinated strikes. And then again, do we see what's going on here? Or am I bugging? By the way, these usage rates goes from 1.8%, and then there's a massive increase from 1.8 to even here. There's the 6.9 to 40.22%. This is not cool, brother. I'm just going to tell you right now, this is not cool. I think Core Games is going down a really weird path with this. Now, let's look at the second floor. So the second floor, you cannot use Zhang Liao, you cannot use Yinlin. I mean, you could use Yinlin if you run Jinxie, right? It's very possible you're just getting no damage out of her, but that's fine, right? So let's go here. Popular teams. Wow. Fucking slap my ass and fucking give me a chicken nugget. Wow, I'm very surprised right now. Carlotta, Gigi. 2, Gigi. 3, Gion on buff with Mortefi on buff. 4, Gigi on buff. 5 on buff. 6, Camilla Sanhua, which is still a very tight window. A very, very, very tight window. If it's taking 3 rotations with Camilla, as opposed to the 2, that's kind of crazy. 7, Carlotta, makes sense. 8, Carlotta, makes sense. 9, Carlotta, Gigi Baiji. 10, guys, do we see the problem here? Am I on fucking drugs? Am I on fucking drugs? This, from first glance, looks like a catch for money. And I understand the game has to make money, and I'm not, again, going to sit here and say that it is predatory in the sense where, like Genshin, there's reasons why people like I exist. There's reasons why people like St. Tonus exist. You go with your account, you could have people help you clear, but also that's only about 9, 5, whatever percent, a very small percent of the population. But to pretend that this is not an issue is fucking insane. It's insane. And it's, don't put the blinders on just because you love Wuwa and don't admit, hey, this is a problem. Because it fucking is. And if this continues to happen, we are going down a very weird path. There's already some predatory stuff. Okay, let's keep it a stack. Not everyone has 5-star weapons. So that absolutely lowers your DPS output to begin with. Just because it's guaranteed does not mean it's not predatory, because it actually incentivizes you to spend more money, right? A Zhang Liao with Stenard compared to Abyss Surges and then compared to his actual best in slot weapon is fucking massive, right? So don't pretend that there's no issues. Call it out when you see it. I think this is a fucking issue. Before I end the recording, from anyone from chat disagrees, I would please love to know. I would really, really, really love to know your thoughts on this. Because again, I'm not here to shit on this. I'm simply here. We got to get Captain Cabins off the screen. Dude's a rat. I'm simply here to point out what I think is a problem. So check side towers. We could look at side towers real quick. I think the side towers are kind of whatever, personally. The 4th floors are tight. The 4th floors are tight too. I honestly just want to believe that Koro Games just want to experience something new with TOA, and obviously most players aren't in favor of the new direction. They're not trying to experiment with something new with TOA, they're trying to sell Carlotta. And so to make it feel less predatory, they then threw Gion in there, and then the excuse is, well, Gion was the first character, and then Gion had a rerun, so you should have Gion. What is the alternative to Gion? And someone said DPS Alto earlier. Stop it. Get some help. There's no alternative to Gion. What's the alternative to Carlotta? Ling Yang. Have fucking fun. Have fucking fun. There is no data, and this is actually kind of ties back to the Mr. Pokey point that we had a little bit earlier, to invalidate someone's feelings about this tower and saying, well, you should have rolled Gion, you should have rolled better, is just dumb. I'm not saying make it accessible to every single person in the world, but we cannot criticize one game and then not fucking do it here. Also, DPS Yang Yang is not real. I'm sorry to tell you, that's just cap. It is what it is. Time to build Yang Yang, boys. The right side with the Glacio buff, I mean, pretty standard stuff here, nothing too crazy. Carlotta, Zhang Liao, Yinlin, I mean, these aren't as wild. I'm kind of going to leave these sides alone. I don't care as much, to be very transparent with you. And I think the very good way to stop this, 2 specific buffs for the remaining towers gives little room to play the characters have left, which artificially increase the level 2. Exactly. I think what they could do, here's a solution. Here's a solution that I think is so fucking simple. It's actually brain dead simple, and I don't know why no one has thought of this yet. Just remove the Electro and Havoc res increase by 10% and up this maybe by 20. Or leave that at 10. Just remove the Electro Havoc res. Now you are not limiting the players who just bought Camilla and just bought Zhang Liao or Yinlin to playing their characters. You know what I'm saying? I use that insane Jinxie Chixia combo to clear the left side floor 3. Chixia shouldn't do service anyway. Yeah, Chixia the GOAT. I think it's just pretty fucking clear cut and dry, man. Again, the whole logic that this is not a big deal because you should have rolled for other characters is fucking stupid. And the whole logic of get good, the game is fucking unplayable on mobile, and people just still have skill issues. And again, wanting to get into, you should want players to get into your end game to spend more money, and it's a good business decision. They probably will become whales. This is a massive turnoff. It's a massive turnoff. They think this is going to increase revenue. I disagree, but it is what it is. Buff's not that big. I couldn't clear with Yang Yang, but cleared it with this abomination. The buff is you literally cleared it with Carlotta. Your buff is active. You have 2 buffs active here. You literally have 2 buffs active here. Yeah, exactly, mystery. No, I'm sorry. I misread your comment. People say the buff isn't that big. And then you clear it with this, and they're like, okay, like, come on, guys, come on, do better and be better. That's an amount. I'm out.